put on the rubber gloves.
I think we did.
Breakfast.
Hey boy, hey girl, superstar DJ, here we go.
With Jay and the Doctor.
Is Bernie on yet? I've got to...
This morning with Jay and the Doctor and Tom Morello from Audio Slave. Welcome to Australia, sir.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here, mate.
Thank you. With your entourage.
Yes, my entourage in tow.
That's it. Well, you're here. It's here. It must be a strange thing walking around the world without the rest of the band, talking about the band, you know, not playing music, just talking about yourself.
It is. It has been quite a whirlwind tour. It is a 2-week, 3-continent tour that has seen jet lag at staggering proportions of jet lag.
Is this why you're leaving the mirror sunglasses on?
Exactly.
Now, Tom Morello.
Clever lad.
Tom, were you a fan of Soundgarden? Was it a dream come true to get Chris Cornell in your band?
Rage Against the Machine were a band that the individuals disagreed about a great many things. One thing that we were actually able to agree on was our love of Soundgarden, particularly the Bad Motorfinger album, which was actually very formative in the early days of Rage. The two records that we all prized at that time were Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger and the first Cypress Hill record. I think you can hear that if you listen to that first Rage record.
Yeah. See, because when I was sort of at school when Rage Against the Machine started and Soundgarden, and for me, like, I used to be in my bedroom with my guitar, wishing that I had Chris Cornell standing in the corner singing in the room with me.
Yeah, well, it was pretty trippy. You know, when we first started playing with Chris, you know, because we were all fans. Chris was like a friendly acquaintance. We had played some Lollapalooza shows together, and he had maybe been to a barbecue or two. We'd be writing songs with Chris Cornell, and every once in a while we kind of look over and we're like, we're writing songs with Chris Cornell. Like, trip on that.
But sure, and you're glad you got him when you did, and you didn't wait, for like Rockstar In Excess and Rockstar Supernova to end.
Very true. Though I will say this: we've talked with Chris that every rock band in the last 12 years or so that has lost a singer or has been sort of looking for a new singer has always called Chris. Like from Motley Crue to sort of the Guns N' Roses to, like, you name it, like the band. So we were actually very pleased that he returned our phone call and.
That's good. So it didn't have to come to a Rockstar Audio Slave.
That's correct. It didn't have.
They could have done it the opposite way around.
There's still time.
They could have had rock band Chris Cornell and auditioned a band to go around him.
That's true. He didn't exactly get the bad end of the stick either. You know, we've been known to rock as well. So.
I'm not suggesting for a minute. But if I was interviewing Chris Cornell, I'd say, "Can you believe you've got Tom Morello in your band?" I used to stand at home and sing and wish he was playing guitar in the other corner.
It was a mutual admiration society.
I'm sure. And now, is the music and lyric writing sort of split up between you guys in Audio Slave?
Chris writes all the lyrics for Audio Slave, and the music's written very democratically. I mean, Chris sort of was insistent in the beginning on not participating in the music writing. I think in Soundgarden he had to shoulder a great deal of the burden, and he was pleased to be in a band with guys who showed up every day with musical ideas. So that allowed him to concentrate pretty much exclusively on the lyrics and the melodies, which he does a great job with. He has made important musical contributions along the way as well. But the songs are written very, very democratically. I mean, it's just the
what do you vote on riffs?
Maybe democratically is not the right word. They're made in an atmosphere of mutual respect and support. How about that?
That sounds nice. That sounds very unband-like.
It's not unlike any band I've ever been in. There's normally 2 or 3 crotchety fellows that hate every good idea that comes down the pike.
Yeah. So you don't have any sulkers in the band?
Not really. I mean, my favorite part of the entire Audio Slave world has been the songwriting, where you're like, if I come up with a riff at home the night before, I know that the next day everyone's going to apply themselves to it, and by the end of that day we're going to have an Audio Slave song that we're proud of. So.
Wow. Stop shaking your asses now. Put your pants back on. Sit down. Because we're talking to Tom Morello. That's right.
Yes.
From Audio Slave. Who's been shaking his ass.
Definitely put your pants back on. You're talking to Tom Morello.
That's one of those
I'm going to have to figure that out. It's like a haiku.
That's going to be the name of your autobiography.
Yeah, sure.
There's a lot of soul going on. In this, the onbeat, hand claps, cowbell.
This was actually a very unexpected song that we came up with. The guitar riff in the chorus of the song I had in my head for maybe more than a decade, and it really headed in a very different direction than I anticipated. Brad kind of put that Motown beat to it, and Timmy laid down the Chocolate Thunder bass lick underneath it, and it became very unexpected, but it much better than I originally thought it
Was there a temptation to get a brass section?
No, none
there?
whatsoever. If there were going to be a brass section, that would be my job on the guitar. That's right. Very.
What is it? What is that sound? How do you get that sound in
the guitar solo?
Yeah.
The laughing monkey.
Yeah, the laughing monkey or the strangled chicken.
It's one of those solos that like Timmy hates that solo. Like sometimes I try to have a couple solos on the record that really alienate the other band members or the producer. You want to make sure that there's someone in the control room shaking their head going, he can't be serious. He can't be serious. Then you know you're on the right track. Like this one. I mean, it's made very simple. I mean, for all you guitar goofballs out there, this is how it's just depressing the whammy bar and kind of slapping the string against the pickups while making it sound like laughing, monkeys. The end. Go do that one. now do that in your band.
You heard it here on Triple J with Tom Morello from Audio Slave.
When did you move past that sort of guitar playing style and become just a guitar god?
I mean, I didn't start playing guitar until I was 17 years old. And I started playing. I had the punk rock revelation. It was got the Sex Pistols record. And I was in a band 48 hours later. I didn't know how to play a G chord on the guitar, but I knew that I had to be in it. I was sort of compelled to be in a band. It really wasn't until the early days of Rage Against the Machine where I started to maybe become less of a musician, more of an artist, and kind of thinking about the guitar in non-traditional ways and trying to really find my own voice on the instrument.
And is this when?
And that's when the Barnyard Animals. That's the old McDougall.
How do you choose the effects that you're using? I mean, the whammy pedal, which I'm sure you must either have stocks in the company or own money to.
You think they might fix those a little quicker when I break them. It's sort of a philosophical difference in a lot of guitar, but I sort of look at it as, it's a piece of wood and 6 wires and a few electronics, and electric guitar is a relatively new instrument on the face of the earth, and who knows what it can do. Sometimes it can laugh like wombats.
Yes, the dulcet sounds of laughing wombats.
Yeah. I like to make the local connection. And I feel like I've been friends for a long time. They're good lads, hearts in the right place.
That's right. And they toured with Rage Against the Machine.
That's correct.
Back in the day, and then you supported them.
That's correct. As the night watchman playing folk songs in front of a rabid high school punk rock audience.
Wow, what was that like?
It was pretty great. I mean, about 4 years now I've been playing political folk music as the night watchman, and for when duty calls, it was on the Rock Against Bush tour with about 5 punk rock bands and myself. It was a great time. Anti-Flag, they're really cool dudes, and their audience was very respectful. They would listen to my my rich baritone voice singing songs of bitterness and retribution.
Where's the whammy pedal? Come on, do the woo-woo.
Everyone. I had to do sort of an announcement before the gig that there will be no bulls on parade tonight, children. Just relax.
Now, when Audio Slave started, it was a departure lyrically from the political sounds of Rage Against the Machine, but at the same time, I guess Axis of Justice started up.
That's right. Yeah, that was sort of an intentional division of labor there. We wanted Audio Slave to. We knew that in order for Audio Slave to be the best band that it could be, it had to be authentic and not just kind of shoehorn it into, the cast of Rage Against the Machine or make it Rage Part 2. So it formed Axis of Justice with Serge Tankian from System of a Down, which is sort of an exclusively political organization. The band doesn't get to vote on that. It's sort of removed from band politics. And you can check out axisofjustice.org, but it's both educational, informative, and we fight the power on a daily basis.
And do you find with the lyrics being maybe less political that it's easier or more difficult to maintain a sort of political presence in the public eye?
Well, I mean, that's at first, it was we were much more political in the Axis of Justice organization than we ever were, on a grassroots level with Rage Against the Machine. So that kept us very busy. And Audio Slave as well. While the lyrics may be the lyrics may be more personal, less political. We were the first American band to ever play in the country of Cuba. And do things like that, which in Rage we didn't even manage to do.
And what was that like?
It was unbelievable. I mean, it was. No American rock band had ever played in the country of Cuba, and so there were really no bureaucratic channels established to do it. So it was but we wouldn't take no for an answer. It took many months to get it together. But we couldn't announce the show until our wheels were up on the plane, headed for Havana. So we didn't know if anybody was even going to come, to the show. But we had an amazing time there. Just the culture and spirit of the Cuban people was awesome. We couldn't have been treated better by everyone we met. And went from visiting music universities to just jamming with people at 3 a.m, out in the streets, to the show where eventually 70,000 people did show up, and it was unbelievable.
There's people spilling out into the streets. The
It
whole
was
city
unforgettable. It was unforgettable. It was just really like, the people were throwing notes up on the stage that pretty much had the same theme that said, like, thank you, we will never forget this. And we felt very much the same way.
I think for a band that's not overtly political, it's a pretty political
Yeah,
statement.
exactly. And the thing too is, like, is for me, like with Audioslave, it's very fulfilling as a arena rock band. We're able to play, there's nothing quite like that. It feels like holding a live wire in front of a big audience, playing those big rock riffs. And through Axis of Justice, I'm able to sort of do the grassroots political organizing, and then through the as an artist, through the Night Watchman and playing the political folk music, which is completely removed from any kind of sort of like commercial consideration. It's purely for like union rallies and benefit concerts and things like that. It provides a pretty good balance.
Do you do anything else in your life? Do you get to relax?
Yeah, sometimes I come down to Australia to talk on the radio.
Is there a time where you just sit back and I'm not going to play guitar solos? I'm not going to try and I'm not going to try and raise social awareness.
Those are rare, but when I do, I hike through the Hollywood Hills with my 3 hounds. That's kind of my work. Yeah.
And I guess a lot of people would love to know when are you going to be in Australia playing songs?
Yeah, that we do not yet know. We do not have any shows as yet booked for the Revelations tour, as Chris just had a baby, and Brad has a baby on the way. So there's a lot of newborns in Audioslave.
Right.
So going to figure that out first, and then figure out the touring on the heels of that. But hopefully we'll be able to come here soon. We've had some awesome shows here in the past, and really always enjoy coming here.
Sure. It's a very kid-friendly country.
Yeah.
And if you do go to an Audioslave show in the future, be a little quiet, because there might be babies sleeping in the dressing room.
That's correct.
Try and keep it down.
Yeah, keep it down, people.
Cool. Tom Morello on Triple J.